Hello everybody, this is Jeff, the Hawaiian Mechanic. Hey gang, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Project Maxima series. So we continue on with maintenance items, things that we need to replace that have gone bad. So far we've replaced bad control arms in the front that had blown bushings, upgraded the struts and shocks, they were also bad, installed some Rev 9 coilovers, and in this video we will be replacing motor mounts in my 2013 Nissan Maxima. So these are the motor mounts that I'll be installing. Now I'm going to do a two-part series, one that covers the front motor mount and the second will be the rear. We're going to try to keep the video short instead of having it being a long 45-minute to an hour-long video. We're going to split it up in two so you can digest the info and go back and forth if you need to look up an installation procedure or process. So obviously these are two different setups here. One is at an angle and one is pretty much straight up. I got these off of Amazon and I have a link in the description below for you guys if you guys are looking to do this project. Now there are a couple of ways you can attack this project. There's an easy way and there's a hard way. Believe it or not, the hard way would be to remove the radiator hose, get the battery out, battery tray, move the computer out of the way, and a bunch of other stuff that's an obstacle between the engine and the mount, and try to work within a limited space to finagle the mount in, and you have to jack it up, jack the motor up, and then try to place it in there. And then after that, take the extra step of having to refill the coolant again, and all the mess that you made with taking off the radiator hose to begin with. The easy way, which is the way that I'm going to do it, is to take the front bumper off, loosen the front brace that holds the radiator and the condenser, just kind of shift it out a little bit, keeping the radiator hose intact. So I've created that space and I can move around, without having to go through the hassle of having to fill the coolant in the end when it's all said and done. So I'll have a link in the description below once again on these motor mounts that I use in this project. With that said, let's start mechanicking. So we got the front bumper off. This is where we're at. So I removed 13mm bolts here, and here on both sides. Okay, now this frees up this entire assembly that holds the radiator and the condenser. And then the headlight assemblies need to be loosened as well. So you've got 10mm here. There's a hidden one right up here that holds it from the top. And then we got these 10mm screws here as well. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create space right down in here to be able to access the motor mount, which is located right down here. You can see it. Focus. There it is. So that's the motor mount. We'll tap it with the light right there. So if I can get enough space to get my hands in there and to maneuver around, you know, without taking off the radiator hose and then this computer and all that, you know, that's a win. So what I'm going to do now is just, you know, slowly move this out the way on both sides so I can get my hands in there to be able to access the motor mount. Let's keep mechanicking. Okay, so by moving the entire assembly that holds the condenser and the radiator out of the way, so I've now created all the space in here. See that? I'm able to get in there just fine from either direction. Down here, I can put my hand around the entire mount there, and I got access to the 2 bolts right down here, and there's one back here. Now there are also 2 other bolts that are here as well that need to be removed. So I have access to that. So now I had to remove 4 of these 10mm bolts from the heat shield to be able to kind of get it out the way so I can access these bolts here on this bracket. So I'm probably going to need to remove and loosen this mount here and this one as well, so I can jack up the motor, just to be able to clear that bolt that's sticking out of the mount there. So, alrighty, let's keep mechanicking. Okay, so this is where we're at. So I had to remove the bolt from the torque strut and this mount that was here, which is now there, sitting there. And I also had to remove these hidden bolts that are actually behind this bracket here. Now I was going to try to remove this bracket, but really difficult to remove this bolt. There's 4 of them. There's 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. So I just loosened the one at the bottom here so the bracket could be a little loose. So now I can move it out of the way, but I can't. I decided not to back it out completely, because then I'd have a hell of a time trying to put that one bolt back in that's underneath here. So now I'm going to raise the engine up, and I should be able to just pull this engine mount out. So let's keep mechanicking. So the engine mount is installed. What I did was thread these bolts here, get them started, all three of them, and then I threaded the post, threaded the post on, through the bracket, and then I lowered the engine and then began the process of torquing everything down. So the torque specs on the engine mount, the base here, these bolts down there are 50 foot-pounds, and then the nut that secures the top here to the bracket is 85 foot-pounds. And then these bolts that for the bracket itself, right up here, the 4 bolts, one here, one there, and 2 underneath, are 50 foot-pounds as well. So all I need to do now is just reinstall the heat shield. These are 10mm bolts, and you just you tighten them down to hand tighten. You tighten them down till it stops, and then you give it a good quarter turn, and you're good there. You don't want it too tight because you have to allow for expansion when the engine is hot. And then back here on this end, need to install the bolt back onto the torque strut here, and then the other mount, which is still sitting there. All right, gang, well, that wraps up the first part of our video. Got the first engine mount installed. I've got everything all buttoned down. I got the heat shields back on. All the bolts have been torqued to spec. So all I need to do is go ahead and put the bumper and everything all back together. And then we'll attack the second engine mount in the next video. So if you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comment section, and I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. Really appreciate you guys checking out the channel and this Project Maxima series. I'll see you guys in the next video. This is your Hawaiian Mechanic. Aloha.